Martin Smith, Virginia, Wisconsin, Oregon, Oklahoma, and Iowa State. Wherever Martin Smith has traveled throughout his epic coaching journey, success inevitably followed. Most notably, Smith led teams have stood atop the NCAA championship podium 3 times during his legendary career. Once with the Virginia women's cross-country team, and twice with the Wisconsin men's program. He has propelled Oregon, Oklahoma, and Iowa State to lofty heights too, producing multiple top 5 national finishes at each stop. Indeed, Smith has enjoyed success at every school he has coached, leading programs to championships at 4 Division I conferences, including a record-setting 12 Big Ten crowns while at Wisconsin. More than 300 of his athletes earned All-American status during his tenures, and he was named National Men's Cross Country Coach of the Year twice. It's certainly been one heck of a ride, and tonight, Martin Smith's legendary journey brings him to the Hall of Fame stage.
Well, this is a treat for me. Obviously, we had a chance to work together when you were at Oregon. I've established you weren't formerly a part of the Witness Relocation Program. You've been around a lot of programs over the years, but I think that's more related to your success as a coach. Your story, obviously, with each of our honorees, a little bit different road to where you got to. I was noticing, even Bridgewater College released a news release about your honor, so go Eagles, I guess we're going to say. But from those beginnings as a student athlete, and then to your entry into the coaching profession, talk about that sort of early days of your coaching career.
Well, I originally didn't start out in track and field. I played other team sports, football, basketball, and baseball. And then while at Bridgewater, where I was playing basketball, my best friend, Jim Clark, convinced me to run the Cherry Blossom 10 mile at the end of basketball season. And I had no idea what I was doing, obviously. Just living off the fitness I had occurred during playing as a basketball player. And then I got hooked and never stopped staying. I stayed the rest of my life in track and field and cross country. And of course, like all of the recipients and everyone in the audience, we're really only a byproduct of all the people that have kind of guided us, because my career's been much like a military career in many ways, deployed at many schools, we could say. I've had the unique opportunity of so many people have given me chances. Sometimes I wondered why a little bit maybe, but it's amazing how all that has led to this moment, and it's very humbling, of course, and I can't express my appreciation for everyone in the sport that has touched me and allowed me to really have a ride that I had never envisioned. So that's kind of how it all transpired, and you never know how someone can, the subtlest little act can change the direction of your life and make an impact that you never envisioned, and you just kind of pick up that baton and go with it and see where it takes you.
Yeah, your predecessor at Oregon, Bill Dellinger, my last workout as an Oregon athlete was my first with Dellinger when he thought I could be an 800-meter guy. At the end of that workout at the old cemetery next to Mac Court, he said, "You're done, son." And I said, "I still want to be in track. Maybe I should try the announcing." And so it turned out to be the answer I needed. So.
Well, we all have great respect for Bill. A little sidebar story. The first athlete that really accomplished. I had fallen in love with Oregon when I first started running, and of course, Coach Bowerman and Bill Dellinger were iconic figures in the sport. Everyone in distance running knew Bill was just an incredible coach. So I had a high school athlete that would inevitably change my career again. Another person who would have known Jim Hill, who would end up running for Oregon.
Jim is here tonight.
And Jim's with me tonight, obviously. And but Jim, he was going from Oregon to the day I started coaching him, because he started being brainwashed from day one. You're running for Bill. If you want to be good, you want to be a great 5K runner, you run for Bill. And then we've had a lifelong friendship, and he's repaid that little bit of I don't know, advice or whatever you may call it 1,000 times over. So like I said, it's an interesting path we take in sport and life, and mine's definitely been really a lot of fun, a lot of challenges.
One of the words we talked about earlier today was the notion of adaptability. You said you've kind of gone through these different programs, each different regions of the country in some cases, different situations, and where you're coming in and filling the shoes of a legendary coach, you're trying to get a program back to where you think it belongs. Adaptability seems to be the thing that you've carried with you throughout.
Well, my parents worried what I was going to do for a living, trust me. I have two very gifted sisters, and Vicki and Lee, and I'm sure everyone in my family kind of just shook their head. What are we going to do with this guy? And coaching in sport was really the only thing I felt comfortable with. And I was at 5 major Division I schools, BCS schools. All 5 are very unique, as all universities are, and very different. And from an athletic component, you really do, weather, culture, environment, athletic department philosophies, and you really have to be able to read the room and really understand where you are, how to buy into that. Sometimes you're incredibly successful at it. You're going to stub your toe sometimes, but you just keep plugging through. But what I always liked about my moves was that it forced me to think outside the box. I was really never, I was always having to reinvent training, not the core systems or the core philosophies you have, but how you're going to adapt it to a different student body, different weather, et cetera, those of us that are heavily involved in distance running know all these variables are incredibly important to be successful athletically. So it kept me fresh. I remember I had another former athlete of mine who I'm very close to, Jerry Schumacher, now the coach at Oregon. I mean, it's a crazy wheel life. And I would always say, Jerry, I wish I had stayed at some places longer. There's so many benefits. I'm seeing it from some of my inductees today. He said, well, it keeps you fresh. It forces you to always, not always be in a comfortable spot, and keeps you fresh mentally and forces you to, how are you going to get the job done? How are you going to do a good job?
And the crazy part, if you wait long enough, I think all the places you coached at will be in the same conference eventually.
Well, that's my one regret, that I'm not going to get a chance to coach in the SEC. I've been to all the other conferences and everywhere else, though, except the SEC.
Jim and Jerry have gotten some love from you, but who else would you like to thank tonight?
Well, obviously, I'd like to re-mention my 2 sisters. Our youngest sister couldn't be here tonight, but my oldest sister, Vicky's here, and she's been, like all of our siblings, just a very special influence, and she's just has this wonderful, kind heart. I do want to re-acknowledge, because to me it's very important, my best friend, Jim Clark, who forced me to run this stupid cherry blossom 10-miler, and then that was my career and life path. And then obviously we all know, I do like using analogies and metaphors. Anyone that knows me knows I have a weakness in that endeavor. But I kind of was my wife's like a military wife. Renee had to move around with me at 4 institutions, uproot, rebuild, and clearly and obviously, and I think part of the reputation about me being a tough taskmaster, not always the, a challenging young man, maybe, let's say. She was always a great compass to get me out of times when I was not as, when I needed your best friend that you could really trust and had your back, and you just knew she knew the right thing to say and to do. And without that, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Renee. So I guess that's the best expression of love.
Break off a piece of the trophy and...
Oh, it's hers.
Oh, it's hers, even better. Right answer.
So,
well, I was walking through the hallways, and obviously, being that I'm kind of born and raised in Eugene, you see the Bill Hayward and Bill Dellinger and Tom Heinonen and Vin Lananas, who is here, and all the people that followed before you. You were such a great part of that heritage, and I especially want to thank you for that. But on behalf of everyone, congratulations, Hall of Famer.
Thank you, Paul.
All right, Martin Smith, Hall of Fame.
Thanks, Paul.
Congratulations.
Very kind.
Yeah, thank you. You got an honor there.
What's that?
Gotta take a bow.